So just before we start, I'd just like to put a little short disclaimer out there. I like to call this the rose code. So if you are a woman born with a womb and the anatomy of a woman, I will be referring to women and men based on the anatomy throughout this episode. I also want to let you guys know that there may be some triggers that come up in this episode. If you are triggered at any point, then my guidance for you is to please seek professional help. I will also be referring the terms feminine and masculine throughout this conversation. And feminine and masculine energy does not mean a gender. In fact, every single gender has feminine and masculine energy. As this episode is based on the divine cycle, on the woman's anatomy of the womb space. If you are a woman listening to this, amazing. Men, don't turn it off. You might learn something amazing through this episode. And I think it's really important that I invite all types of women in all phases of womanhood to listen to this episode. If you no longer have a womb, so for example, if you've had a hysterectomy or you don't have a bleed, or perhaps you have a bleed that isn't consistent, you can still learn from this episode, as the divine cycle is actually based on all phases of womanhood. And if you do not have a bleed or you're menopausal, you can actually track the moon phases. So everything you learn from today is still valid for you. Please note that as I speak through this episode, it's very personal. Every single woman has a different cycle. There is not one way to have a menstrual cycle. So whether you have a shorter cycle, a longer cycle, a heavier cycle, a lighter cycle, please know that you are unique and it's unique to you. So there is no comparison in the way we are as women. Everything is valid and you are great the way you are. This episode is just leaning into how you can heal, expand, and just balance yourself even more. This episode is to just help you with your womb wellness. Welcome to Full of Grace podcast with me, your host, Grace Prosser, where I'll be guiding you on a journey of self-discovery, deeper connection, and a healthier way of living. In these episodes, I will be exploring topics such as self-love, community, sisterhood, faith, relationships, wellness, prayer, and living out your purpose. By discussing these topics with boldness and authenticity, I create a safe space for my listeners to connect, observe, reflect, and apply growth into your life. This podcast offers education, understanding, and practical guidance to help you live an easy flowing life. And no matter where you are in life, remember, success and failures do not determine the love you are worthy of receiving. So why not choose to live today by taking the steps freely towards a life full of grace? We're here again for round 2. All about you. This one is going to be more focused on you and your life as Helen. Not just Mom Helen, but as Helen. So yeah, we can give our listeners a bit of an insight into, more about you and your passions in life and what you feel sets your soul on fire, what ignites you, what excites you, what pleasures you, all those really amazing things that when life gets in the way, we forget about. So I'm going to start off by asking you, what is your pleasure, passion, and purpose in life? So, as in Helen, you. So, I know we've got the mom. I know we have mom and caregiver, but you as a person, what's the one thing that you're passionate
I think it's really interesting when you said that to me, because I first of all, I kind of feel like when you're a mom as well, you can kind of lose yourself a bit. And I hide behind my kids quite a lot. I mask just as a comfortable thing. Even sometimes if I'm a bit nervous about something, I'll just talk about my kids or have my kids with me, And I think a lot of women do that. But I think for me, I think what, I love and what I'm passionate about, I think I'm I think I'm very much a romantic. Yeah, I'm very much a romantic. I love
Same.
love.
Oh, I love
Love love.
so much. Like, obsessed with love.
Yeah, obsessed.
This is why we get on
romantic.
so
Yeah.
well. Like, literally, we just love.
Yeah, like love.
Emotions, love, feelings, everything. I think that's why we feel so much, is because we're so passionate about feeling things. Yeah, love that.
No, definitely. And I kind of feel like if I ever talk to you about my dating life, you understand because we're very, 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 very similar.
Like I said yesterday, it's like blind leading the blind.
Not like I would actually want him to know how much I overthink everything.
But we're in our delicate divine stage. We're in our overthinking phase of our cycle. So we're going to overthink things.
Yeah, no, totally. And I kind of feel like I'm very passionate about, I love being a woman and celebrating that. I love being glamorous. Always makes me happy. I love like hair and makeup and feeling good. And, you know, I love feeling sexy. I love owning that. And I kind of feel like I've had, say on social media, or in the press or things, I've had kind of maybe some not such nice comments, but I really do believe, I think women should, you know, feel beautiful and celebrate being sexy. And I think we should all feel that way. And
absolutely,
of course, you know, and if we're mums, it doesn't make any, to me, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, how did we become mums in the first place, you know?
I always say this, through expression and pleasure, through the feminine way of being, which is pleasure, sensuality, sexuality. That is the primal substance of what being a woman is. I always teach this, like, you know, as a woman, we express through our bodies in so many different ways. When we're having sex, when we're co-creating, like, we express. You know, we love to put nice lingerie on, and we love to put nice perfume on, and we love to look good, not just for the man.
I love the power of it, though, don't you? I love the power of it.
Yeah, for us. And I think, like you just said, that's how we're all here. That's how we're all co-created, through the feminine expression.
Yeah.
And part of the feminine expression is beauty. And then when we are birthing life, we are expressing. We're screaming, we're shouting, we're expressing through, like, the womb again. You know, that is what the feminine is, expression in so many ways. I wanted to get onto this actually with you because obviously you started off when you were younger with a passion for acting, right? So talk a little bit about that. Like, where did that come from when you were a little girl? Like, what was that spark inside you that was like, I want to act? You know, like, I want to be, was it because you wanted to express on TV? Did you want to be like glam on TV? Did you ever want to be famous?
I think it was just, to be honest with you, just a bit of luck, really. And my mom, it was just a bit of luck. My mom would take me to like a drama class, and yeah, it was just luck, really. But you know, I'm very, very northern. Coronation Street was a huge deal, you know, in my family, and I'm very grateful for it because it opened up so many opportunities. But I remember as a child, my mum just said that you'd like to be in the centre of attention.
Yes.
I'm a Leo as well, so I just like to be in the centre of attention, and yeah, and it was very much you know, a luck thing as well. But I kind of feel, kind of being around that environment as well, you know, it gave me so many amazing opportunities in my life, you know, and I was around a lot of really amazing women as well.
Expression.
Yeah, really amazing women. You know, the actress that played my mom as well, who I'm close to. I'm close to her daughter as well, Hattie. Sally Jennifer played my mom, and she was amazing with her emotions. And also being an actress, having to be so in tune as well with your emotions all the time.
Absolutely.
You have to be, you know, you have to cry on cue, you know.
Yeah.
And I love her. I adore her. Sally Jennifer, she's amazing. So kind of being around her, but also, you know, yeah, just seeing her being an actress and how she would deal motherhood as well. And yeah, she's such a lovely person as well. So it was nice. I was around, you know, a lot of inspiring women as well, you know.
So do you think that passion there was like, you know, when you were like enjoying going on set and things, what was that spark inside of like that you really wanted? Was it exciting? Did you love being behind the camera? Did you like
It was amazing. I mean, I look back at like some memories that I've got and I'm like, wow, I was really lucky to experience some of the memories that I had, like the excitement of, say, for example, filming and the night shoots and, you know, the cameras and, you know, the excitement of it all and the buzz, you know, like I was really, you know, really blessed to experience that, you know. And I think I always kind of like things, I'm not very good with routine. I always like things to be quite exciting. I do have ADHD, but I like things to be always quite,
you don't follow the recipe, do you?
No, I don't.
I don't follow the recipe.
I don't follow the recipe. I could never be bored, and I like things always to be exciting. I definitely
extra
don't.
salt, extra spice, sod it. I'll put some, I don't know, cherry in there just to see what it happens.
Yeah, definitely. I do not follow the recipe.
No, I don't follow the recipe. One thing I've had to learn, which Divine Cycle, which you can hear on the other podcast, which me and Helen speak about, I've learned from the Divine Cycle where I have to be organized. And that's one thing the Divine Cycle did teach me, because I was like, if I want to be living the life of my pleasure and my expression, having a little bit of recipe is really important. I think that really taught me that. It's like, I'm like you, I love making my own recipe in life, but I also have to remember that there are other people around me that follow the recipe, like really follow the recipe. And because I don't follow the recipe, sometimes we don't understand each other and there can be a conflict. And it's like, that's where I've learned having a little bit of organization and things like that is not too much, because I don't want to take it away from who I am, which I'm sure you don't, because you love being who you are and expressing how you express. But it gives you that little bit of framework to be like, okay, just chill now, Grace. Just follow the recipe for a couple of days. Then you can go do your thing.
Yeah.
I
mean, I kind of think how I parent as well. I like to say that I'm a fun mom. I'm not a routine mom.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's how I am as well. Like I go to the beat of my own drum.
Yes.
But that is very much how I parent. Like with my children, I very much bring them up to go to the beat of their own drum, you know, and be themselves. That's really important for me.
Yeah.
Like for them to really be themselves and to know that mommy really loves them just the way they are, you know?
Well, as you're speaking about them, my next question actually was...
Sorry, you know what? I do this as a habit as well. You know what? I really do that as a habit. I think a lot of women do that.
But I'm just about to ask you about parenting.
I really do it as a thing, and I don't actually mean to. I think a lot of women, if we're really honest, we do it a lot. Like we constantly talk about our kids and stuff because we're not, that's like a comfort, you know?
Of course.
And sometimes because maybe we aren't really comfortable talking about ourselves as much, like ourselves. So yeah, I think I do that a lot, but I'm trying to get a bit better about it.
Witness it a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's because it takes so much of our time, but actually sometimes talking about our actual selves is quite uncomfortable, you know. It's
100%.
It's scary, isn't it, to talk about ourselves as
much. I heard someone say something like, I know obviously you're not married, but I heard someone say, when you become a mom and get married, you lose your first and your last name. You become mom and your last name is lost. So your identity is totally shifted. And I'm not a mom, so I don't know what that feels like yet, to have my first name taken away and just be called mom. But I can imagine it becomes habit of like being mom, because you are responsible for these little children that are growing into this world. So everything does become about them.
But it becomes a comfort blanket as well. And I think I know that sometimes if I'm nervous about a situation or what have you, I hide behind my children a lot. I think a lot of people, if they're honest, actually would say where actually, you know, you need to be comfortable within yourself. And, you know, I've done work with you where we've done like healing over the last few months and things. And I mean, I'm like a single mom, I've got 3 kids, like I don't have much time, but I've been able to have the time because we've done it, haven't we? We've worked the time.
Well, you followed your recipe a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you've taken responsibility for you as a woman.
Yeah.
And for Helen, you're taking responsibility for your children. You're taking responsibility for your career. you're also taking responsibility for Helen now and what
Yeah.
she needs in her life and what's important to her. So talk to me a little bit about how that has kind of developed, because you've gone from, you know, being in a long-term relationship and then now in this new realm of like single parenting, finding Helen again, or maybe just not even finding yourself, but just rediscovering or actually allowing parts of Helen to be here now. You know, how has that looked for you?
Well, I mean, I've been really honest that I really struggled with my mental health in January, and obviously we're just natural, really good friends as well.
Yes.
So obviously
Yeah.
you saw me that I wasn't great on Christmas Eve. I was really upset that my children weren't there for Christmas, and I know that sounds so petty, and I know it sounds so ridiculous in the grand scheme of things. Christmas is what? Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. It's nothing, you know. But for some reason, it was a build-up of the whole year, the build-up of the emotions that I didn't let myself feel.
Yeah.
And everything just came to a head in December, and I really, really just struggled to cope so much. I mean, you saw me around Christmas, and then I went away, obviously, to of course I'd go to Bali. Of course I'd go to Bali. I just get something in my head and I just go there. I was like, I'm going to Bali.
Yeah.
And I watched Eat, Pray, Love.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I wanted to have my
Go find myself in Bali. Finding yourself through here.
So I went to find myself.
Oh right, yeah.
In Bali.
Yeah.
I dragged my poor children like halfway across the world.
I know, it's one of
to
the
find
things.
myself. My mum was like, Helen, I'll have the children for you. No, I like them with me. I like them with me.
Yeah.
I didn't find myself in Bali, actually.
I don't really know many people who do find themselves in Bali. I mean, they might find themselves
I found myself with you, but I haven't found myself
yeah,
in Bali.
you find yourself with the people that love you the most, right?
Yeah.
Are the people that are the true talkers. I think me and you are quite very open and honest, expressionate women. We'll tell each other how it is, even if it might be uncomfortable to say.
Yeah.
Grace, you know, like you did with me yesterday, you were a bit like mom mode with me, Grace. I'm not like saying, you're not getting any older. This is what you said to me. And I was like, I need that in my life. Like, I need someone to just remind me of this is what's important. Like, life could go tomorrow.
I think I speak to my friends though. I'm a very much a girl's girl with women. I speak to my friends with so much love, like how I would speak to Matilda.
Yeah,
So when I speak
important.
to my friends, I speak to them how I would want what I would want for Matilda the best.
Yeah, exactly.
What you'd want the best for.
Yeah.
And I think you need that sometimes. I like it when
100%.
when my friends say to me, Helen,
Yeah.
and you need that.
We need it because we need people around us who are going to help us grow. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're the truth speakers. You know, the people who speak the most truth are the people that love us the most. Even though it might be hard to hear, even though it might be annoying at times, or we want to push it away and be like, no, I don't want to hear that. It's like, yeah, you're probably not going to find yourself in Bali for a week. But what you will
Not with 3 children screaming on a plane. I came back absolutely
exhausted.
You should have seen me when I came back. I was literally like, oh, it was so funny. I remember my mum and dad were like, I really don't think you should go. But it was funny. And then obviously, then I started, I mean, it's a little bit off topic, but I had a very, 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 very bad reaction to an ADHD medication.
Right.
Which sent me to a psychosis for a period of time, which was really, really horrible. And then obviously, how I told you about I was taking a contraceptive pill to help me with my hormones for my periods that were just so awful. So yeah, I kind of, and then it was a hard time of the year as well because I was heartbroken because I feel passionate, as an actress, but then I had to pull out of a theatre tour, which was like my dream job. And I was heartbroken about that, absolutely heartbroken, because I wasn't mentally well enough to do it.
And I think it's God's plan sometimes, God can intervene. I believe that those things of divine intervention are for you to stop, slow down, and seek the help you need. And perhaps if that hadn't happened, we may have never even done the divine cycle. where you found yourself.
Yeah.
Not in Bali, but actually from a mini breakdown. And I always say to people, if you are not nurturing your wellness, you're going to end up nurturing your illness.
Yeah.
And wellness is so important for us.
So important. But Grace, I don't know if there's any other women that will be listening to this thinking, oh, whatever, you just get on with it. I was like that all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, no, just be strong, just get on with it. No, you can't carry on like that. You do break.
You have to nourish your wellness.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna end up like I said, nurturing an illness.
Yeah.
And it's something that obviously I think we're starting to learn more collectively, globally. It's becoming more known, normalized now to, lean into these things. But you went in the deep end really with going through to the womb space, the menstrual cycle, because again, that's where we come from, right? And I think that's a great part to look at. If you want to find yourself, great place to start.
Yeah.
Great place to start. But I'm glad that you said that and you were honest about what you were going there to look for or try and find. And actually,
eat, pray, love. And the woman got divorced and she found herself, in Bali.
Julia Roberts.
Yes, yeah. I just wanted that, but I dragged my poor children with me.
Oh, I bet they loved it though.
Yeah, they had a great time actually. But I was I didn't find myself at all. But I found myself
when it all broke down.
Yeah,
and there's this beauty in the breakdown, right? There's always beauty in a breakdown. We can only see heaven from hell, right? There is only one way up. And I genuinely believe in divine intervention that rejection in any form is redirection. It takes you to a new direction. It's protection. And you learn and create new, greater connections. So I always remember that when something isn't quite going my way, whether or not it's my mental health, my physical health, something to do with my career, my romance, I always, always remember that. The protection, the redirection, a new connection. And I know I'm exactly where I need to be because something better is coming, You're now in a place in your life where you've said you feel stronger now. You feel so much stronger now. You feel like you can take on the world again.
I think I had to deal with my emotions. I didn't. Yeah. I think it was me constantly not deal with my emotions and being like, I didn't cry.
Yeah.
I never used to cry. I never used to cry. Yeah. But now, I'm not saying I cry all the time, but I can cry now, which is healthy and it's good. Because I never used to cry. And I think it was kind of dealing with emotions and I'm feeling that. And that's made me feel so much healthier mentally, so much.
I think there's a study that's been taken out that crying has, I don't know if you guys know this, but does crying have something to do with it? Doesn't it release like a chemical or something where
There's something like that.
Yeah, it releases like a chemical of like healing.
Does it?
Genuinely crying, yeah. It's a healing natural mechanism for the body to heal. So it's really good to cry. I like calling it a crygasm.
Really?
Yeah, like it feels like an orgasm when you have a great cry, when you just let it all out. And again, as I teach a lot about the womb cries.
Yeah.
Our womb cries in different phases of our cycle. If you're a woman, you know this. Sometimes we just cry at the most silly things. And it depends where you are in your cycle. Sometimes you feel very sad on your cycle, so you have a sad cry. Sometimes you cry with gratitude. Yesterday, I cried with gratitude for Jesus, didn't I? I came to you and you were like, what's up? And I was like, I just love Jesus so much. Like, he walked up that hill with that cross on his back, and the thing that got me was that he forgave everybody before he died. And for me, that message is like, how much do we hold on to the past and these grudges and these things that consume us so much? Forgive before you die. Jesus did that. And like yesterday in this phase of my cycle, I'm like crying because I've just got so much gratitude for that. And just being proud, being a proud woman, being a proud human being. So yeah, I'm glad that you started to cry a bit more, and I hope that you feel safe with me crying. You know, like
It was hard. I think I kind of trained my brain not to cry for such like a long time, really.
do you think that's because people have told you it's a weakness or something, or it's you're showing that you're weak?
Yeah, probably past relationship things, and then obviously becoming a single mom, just
Yeah.
thinking, stepping into my masculine energy and cutting off all my emotions to cope.
Yeah, and it's almost like that thing like, do I show my kids my emotions? But again, something else that I read the other week was if you show your emotions to your children and then you're showing them how you're dealing with them, you're actually teaching them that your emotions are okay and acceptable and there is a way to deal with them.
I mean, I feel guilty now because I've always been like that. When Matilda used to cry, I used to tell her to stop it and to be strong. So, you know, I was only trying to parent how I thought was
Exactly.
parenting. So whenever Matilda used to cry, I'd say, stop that now, you need to be strong, stop crying. Because that's how I would be. Where now I've worked on myself, you know, I'm not saying I always apologise to my children. I'm just
We're
trying
not
my best. I'm not perfect.
We are not. Disclaimer.
I love my kids.
Disclaimer, we are not perfect.
I love my kids. I was only just trying my best, you know. But you know, and I do always apologise if I've messed things up. But you know, now I've worked on myself, which I needed to do, and deal better with my mental health, my emotions. I'm a lot better with Matilda about that, and hopefully she'll have me as a much better mom.
I think it's so important to show
Yeah.
that they're normal, you know, and you know, children are they're so brave and courageous and they're so wise and you know, they've got great ideas and they want to love you back too, and it's okay if mom's crying sometimes because she might be on this part of the cycle and they're understanding, they're learning human nature, you know, they're not avoiding it. So I think that's beautiful. Beautiful. About kind of how you deal with things in life, I'm sure that lots of people are wanting to ask this question. How do you deal with the backlash, negativity of mainly social media? I think that we're living in a time now where social media is so consuming on so many levels. So much comparison, so much judgment, very little boundaries. I'm a very boundary person, so no negativity is welcome in this podcast. So if anybody wants to leave a comment that is judgmental, it will be deleted. Like, I don't tolerate anything like that, especially on a podcast that is celebrating women. How do you deal with that?
You know, I think probably the way I've been brought up as well, kind of being in Coronation Street, and then when I was 22, I did the jungle, and literally, I was when I was 22, I did the jungle, and I was awful. I was absolutely terrible.
I watched it.
Well, I couldn't for a laugh, babe. You'll have to YouTube it. But I was absolutely terrible at all the trials. And I was terrible at them. I was awful. So
how did you deal with your divine diva in the jungle?
Oh, you know, darling, I was actually taking medication for ADHD then, and I don't know if it made them worse. But yeah, I really kind of got a lot of like negative comments after it. You know, people being, oh, you were rubbish in the trials, or you're this or that, or a bit crazy, or what have you. And I don't know. I think because that was so public and it was so much in the press and what have you, I had to learn. To get a thick skin. I had to learn to get a thick skin. And then I kind of feel like after, things don't bother me as much, but also without sounding arrogant, because I'm not, everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to be loved.
It's human nature.
Of course we want to be liked. Everyone wants to be liked. But I've kind of thought, I actually quite like myself. I think I'm a nice person, and I think I'm kind, and I think I'm a good person. And I know that my friends that know me, and I know that I've got a good heart. So,
love that.
I kind of, whatever I want to post, but I'm a bit of a rebel, really. I think I am.
You don't follow the recipe, remember?
No, I don't. I'm a bit of a
Same.
rebel, and I kind of feel like, I get comments as well about, oh, you're a mum, you shouldn't dress like that, or you shouldn't post sexy things. Honestly, I think there's something in me that wants to post more.
When you get
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. It is.
100%.
I very much am like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think when it comes to judgment on other women, there's always going to be a bit of a woman wound.
I just really, though, honestly, I really, really do hate the whole slut shaming.
Yeah.
I honestly,
It's like a witch hunt trial.
I really, really do. I find it really, really painful. I love other women. I love empowering other women. I love seeing other women being beautiful. I love seeing women be, celebrate themselves and be sexy. I love it.
Same.
I think, and I really can't bear it when women put each other down. I think it's vile, actually. I think it's vile to talk about how another woman dresses, or how another woman looks. I can't bear it. I honestly, it just makes me cringe. Like, I would never say anything negative about how another woman looks.
No. I've never heard you ever in our friendship, ever, which is very rare. I've never heard you gossip about another woman, ever.
No,
ever.
I don't actually.
You do not gossip. I'm not a gossiper. I don't have friends who gossip. I don't have people in my life who gossip. I don't read gossip magazines. I don't read gossip articles because I believe it's very negative. And you don't ever gossip.
No, I don't
ever. It was like, even though you're in that industry as well, like, you just don't. It's so refreshing. And I think with the woman wound as well, like the judgments, the way I have comparison for people like that, for other women, even through that divine cycle, is like, where in their cycle are they feeling like they're judging themselves? They've got so many burdens. They feel like they've got to do it all. And are those types of things impacting the way that they're speaking negatively of other women, the insecurities of themselves? So actually, it's not that I don't like them women. I actually pray for them. If anything is in the space where it is a form of gossip or a form of negativity, I pray to God and I say, please God, in whatever way you can, move through that woman, move through that person, bring them a glimmer of light, show them where they love themselves so they get to love other women. And I just pray, because for me, there's nothing more powerful than just that simple mindset switch of, I'm just going to give her a prayer right now.
Yeah.
And
send her some love,
and send love, because I truly believe when we pray for people, at some points in their life, they can access that prayer. And for me, I know people are praying for me. And if I pray for others, it's like a two-way thing. So yeah, that's kind of how I would deal with anything like that.
And I think with other women as well, I feel like when other women get jealous of other women, I always feel I get very inspired by other women, and I think it's that kind of, like, I'm really inspired by you and like your spirituality, and I've kind of tapped it. I wouldn't say I was really spiritual, but I know that you really are. But I've tapped into that because I've been so inspired with how you see things, and and I think it's just been, thank you. Yeah, it's
you inspire me as a mama.
Ah, thank you, darling.
You do. I love it. You never complain, ever. Like, I have so many friends who are moms that are like, you're never gonna get any sleep. They try and put me off motherhood. Not once have you ever tried to put me off motherhood.
Oh, I think motherhood's the most amazing thing. I feel really, really blessed. I find it really hard though when I get stressed, and of course, like other mums, like, I'll lose it when I was shouting. I feel like the worst.
You don't complain about it ever. You don't complain.
I think it's obviously I decided to be a mum, but also I had Matilda when I was like 24. I don't really know any different, but I kind of think, I really love being a mum. I feel really lucky to be a mum, even though it's really
challenging,
hard sometimes and stuff, but But yeah,
I love that. I like being around you as mom as well as Helen. Like, I love seeing you in that way as well.
I think you're learning as you go. Like, say, for example, when I said to you about Matilda, I mean, gosh, but I think it's really important. I always apologise.
Yeah.
Matilda, Delilah and Charlie are a bit young, but I always apologise to Matilda when I mess up, because we do mess up.
Of course.
And if I, lose it and I'm shouting, I will say, I'm so sorry, Matilda, I was feeling this way. It doesn't mean that it's okay. I shouldn't go around shouting, but, as mums, we have so much pressure. And also when we're working mums and we've got it, we feel everything's like all on us and stuff. But I always apologise to her, and I kind of feel like I've grown so much by doing the Divine Cycle. I feel like I'm such a better mum for it, because my mental health's better. I'm able to understand emotions better. So I'm going to be a better mum to her. I'm not going to say damaging things to her like, don't cry, you need to be strong. I'm not going to say stuff like that to her now. I'm going to be able to understand her and be able to deal with her emotions better, because I've worked on myself. But I think that's taking responsibility as well.
Exactly.
For you, I'm thinking, like...
It's everyone's first time on earth.
I do say that though to Matilda. I always go, I've never been a mum before, I'm just trying my best here. I don't know really what I'm doing, so I probably get it a bit wrong, but I'm just giving it a go, so I'm sorry,
just
I'm
bear
just trying my best.
bear with me. But yeah, you're open with it. Yeah, well, I think you're a brilliant mother, and I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and just you speaking just so naturally about things, and us just having a conversation. I know you said sisterhood is really important to you. Friends, women, sisterhood, women building each other up, women supporting each other as well, and just having those healthy, safe relationships is so important. Inspiring, right?
Yeah.
So for you on sisterhood, what do you feel like you could give guidance with women who are seeking out friends and sisterhood that really truly accept each other, and that really loving relationships? What would you say?
I think it's just honesty. I think that's how you connect with it, when you're really honest with other women, and you can really, really connect with other women by being honest. And things that you might be embarrassed to talk about, that you struggle with, or how you feel, or you think, maybe not putting on a pretense that your life is great, or or that you're cool, or what, but actually being really vulnerable with other women and being like, this makes me feel like this, or things that not that you're ashamed of, but that you're embarrassed of, or
I think sisterhood helps heal that so much. It really does. And it's one thing, obviously, and
to laugh about it. Can you remember? I mean,
we laugh a
yeah.
lot.
I mean, that thing that I told you. Sorry, we can't actually talk about this particular thing, but we laugh about all the time. But that healed me from laughing.
Yeah, because I'm not judging you. Because I'm just like, I just see it as beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I see the things that people feel embarrassed about and shameful about, they're the things we love the most about people, because it brings who they are to life. I remember we were on a walk, with sisterhood walk, and you brought something up in the sisterhood group, and every single woman felt it, but none of them would have spoke up. But because you did, you made a safe space for them women to be like, me too. And then we were like, me too, me too. Okay, now we've all got this thing in common.
Yeah.
Now we don't feel so alone. Now we feel that we belong in this group. And it just opens up so much healing in safe spaces.
Yeah.
And so we have decided, haven't we, to, welcome and invite women to join us on some, sisterhood spaces, which we would like you to check out soon. And we're really excited for it, aren't we? It's
really excited.
I'm going to bring the wellness aspect, and you're also going to bring your personal experiences and your ability to, you're very good at listening. You're very good at supporting women when they're talking and sharing. We want it to be a space, don't we, where people feel like they can come and be whoever they are. And we want to welcome them in to just experience it. It might be daunting at times to be like, I'm going to meet women I've never met before. But, when I do these retreats with women, they leave with friends for life.
Yeah.
And, they are transformative, but it takes women like me and you to step into, building something like that. Authentic, Like, we're not doing this for any other reason other than the fact that we want women to feel it,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that shows because we've both done the work on that.
Yeah.
So we'll let everybody know when we're going to be doing
I
it.
know. No, because I remember the last session we did, it healed me so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
And my friend Jodie as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple
She got a
little
lot from it.
things.
Simple, yeah.
And we forget that it's sometimes not even about what we're doing, it's who we're with. And women coming together like that is amazing. So thank you for being
Thank you, darling.
beautiful friend to me.
Thank you.
And we're going to have a nice dinner now, aren't we? And we're
Yes,
gonna cook
yes,
us
we
some
are.
nice food.
The children will come back now.
Yeah, it's going to be like Madhouse again.
Yeah.
I'm going to be forced to play football.
Yeah, with
I think,
Delilah. Yeah, you're
yeah.
going to be forced to play football with Delilah. It would suddenly
Yeah.
be really loud and a bit overstimulated by so many noises.
Wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, so thank you for everyone who listened. We hope you enjoy it. Please leave your positive feedback, like, subscribe, or let us know if you ever want us to do any more in the future. If you've got any questions for us, we'd love that, wouldn't we?
Yes, we would.
Amazing. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please help me to grow this community by selecting that subscribe button and liking and leaving a comment in the section below. And I'll see you next time.